It's been a while since we've done a video, and we thought people might want to know more about building a pole shed. There's a lot of stuff we learned in addition to all the prices that we're going to give you here and show you what it costs. It was a huge amount of knowledge that we gained. So
for sure.
Our shed is a 56 by 36 and it has a 9-foot lean. That's the full 56 long. And we didn't do concrete yet or electrical, but here's what we have so far, including about a year's worth of labor.
All right, so the first thing we had to do, we had to get a permit from the county to be able to build the shed, which was $743.89, which I thought was a lot. Then we have the skid loader for the stump grinding and flattening the area. If you guys checked out the other video of us prepping for the shed, we had a lot of trees here and we had to chainsaw them all down and do the stump grinding.
We had about 80 stumps to grind in total. So. And
we missed a couple, unfortunately. So
yeah,
that's the problem. So that was $1,161.08. And then the price of the shed, so we actually went to Menards, which is kind of a Midwestern pole shed, or it's like a Lowe's, but they also have pole shed kits. So we went to Menards and did a customized pole shed kit, which costed $24,765.99.
And that price was going up weekly or down weekly. It was varying all over the place because lumber prices were going crazy when we started this project. So.
And then the taxes on the shed in our county that we live in was $1,824.28, which also taxes suck. And then the next thing we had to do after we got the kit here, we had to dig all the holes, and we rented a dingo to dig all the holes, and that was $336.30. And then unfortunately we didn't dig the holes wide enough.
Here's a lesson that we learned is make sure you know the county regulations really well. We did look at all the regulations and it required an 18-inch hole.
But it had to be 30, I think.
And when we had the inspector come out to inspect the holes, they told us, no, this part of the shed has to be 32-inch diameter, and it has to have a foot of concrete in the bottom of the hole, which was not our plan. We had bought all the concrete pucks with the package for the shed, and unfortunately we were forced to return all that and pour concrete in all these holes. So we had to rent a second auger system to dig 32-inch holes, which is a massive hole.
Yeah.
And that was a big learning experience for me too.
Yeah, that was terrible.
Learned a lot. Took a long time.
And for renting a skid loader again, that was $624.30. And then as he was saying that we had to do the 12-inch cement, we went to Lowe's and bought a bunch of cement bags and then mixed it ourselves, and the cement was $500 for all the bags.
It was a little bit more than that, but rounding to 500 for that.
Yeah, rounding. So the next thing is we got is the scaffolds, which obviously you just use them so you could do higher things.
So we can get up on the roof. So on the back side, there's a 12-foot drop off. So having the scaffolding was pretty important. It's pretty hard to work on that side of the roof without any sort of safety apparatus. So it was nice to have the scaffolding. Helped us do the siding up that side and the roof from that side.
So my dad actually rented those and he didn't return them for a long time. So that was $686.51.
It's actually fairly cheap if you have them for a short amount of time, but we had them for
way too long.
3 or 4 months, I think.
Yeah. And then we had to get a lift to lift the trusses. Unfortunately, Curtis's tractor was not strong enough to do that, and it failed.
And it couldn't quite reach.
No.
It turned into a massive headache. We did 3 trusses with my tractor, and it was probably one of the most difficult parts of this. So we end up breaking and went and rented a lift. So
and the lift was $500. That was for 2 days, I think.
Yeah.
Only 2 days.
Yep.
So then, after pretty much the shed was completely built, we had to get gravel to put in the shed and the outside of the shed because it was just dirt in there. And gravel was $2,200, and we ended up renting another skid loader to spread all the gravel, which was another $599.37. I didn't know if you wanted to add anything. Okay. And then, so we did not buy the garage doors at the time when we bought the kit. Menards did have the 11% rebate going on, so we did get 11% rebate, which ended up...
We planned on using that to buy the garage doors, just to cut our original costs and make it all work together. We didn't need them right away, so.
Yep, which the garage doors were $3,500, and they were on back order, so we ended up not even getting them till November,
yeah,
I think.
Right before it got real snowy.
Yeah, which sucked, but it worked out. And then, unfortunately, as we were doing the shed, there was trim missing. With the kit, obviously there's a lot that they have to send, and they missed some stuff. So we ended up missing some trim that we had to go buy, and that was $300, about $300. We're not really sure how much it was because we had to return some extra trim that they gave us and then get the trim we needed. So in total, the shed cost was $36,141.09. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, it was a little bit more expensive than we had expected. It's hard to anticipate all the smaller, which aren't necessarily small, but having to rent a skid loader 3 times instead of renting it once, having to rent the lift, which we didn't plan on. The concrete we didn't plan on because the system that we ordered came with those concrete pucks. A lot of this stuff was really unplanned. We ended up having to buy more lumber for supporting the main beams originally. There was quite a few things that you don't plan on. We bought additional screws for the siding, the steel tin.
Because we were missing some, right?
I think it just, yeah, we wanted some longer ones for as windy as it is in this area. We wanted to make sure that the steel is really secure, and that was important for us, maybe not for you guys. But anyways, there was a lot of additional costs that we didn't plan on.
Also, oops, sorry.
Go ahead.
So also one of the costs that we didn't have to account for was labor.
That's where we saved a lot of money.
Yeah.
Kelly's dad helped a phenomenal amount, and Kelly and I did what we could, and I spent every weekend and every evening doing something on this shed I mean, it was almost a solid 6 months or something.
Yeah. I pretty much was watching the whole time, and then my dad would be like, hey, I'm hungry, can you go get me some Arby's? That was my job.
Kelly was the gopher.
Yeah, pretty much.
She was getting sick of going to the house and getting me nails and screws and everything else.
They would forget everything. I'd bring them out water and go get them food and all that. But so I actually contacted a pole shed company to try to get an estimate of what it would have costed for the pole shed being built, and the labor cost would have been $16,000. So if we would have had someone come out and build it, the total would have been $52,000 instead of $36,000.
And a lot of builders that we talked to didn't want to build a Menards shed, so the base shed cost would have been 30 to 50% more depending on what style or what brand they would have used. Their reasoning is they don't feel confident in the Menards style shed. They think the materials aren't as nice, but regardless, this is what we wanted, and this is what we could afford, really. I mean, this was a stretch for us, but putting all the labor into it ourselves made it affordable.
And I think the shed has held up nicely. Last summer we got a pretty bad storm, and
we had a storm that took down the majority of the trees around it. Actually, it didn't take down the handful of very big ones, or you can full decker.
Yeah.
Luckily, we haven't had any trees hit it. There was a few trees we didn't take down before this whole thing started because honestly they were too big. It would have taken us weeks just to take those few trees down. So far, even with a couple severe windstorms, it's held together perfectly. We haven't had any issues. thanks again to Kelly's dad. He's done an awesome job helping us out, and a few other people that have done a really good job helping us out.
My dad also had to drive about 2 hours each way. He lives about 2 hours away from me, and he drives a diesel truck, so he spent a lot of gas money.
He's done a lot of driving.
Yeah, a lot of driving. A lot of driving. He probably should have just bought a car for that short time and
Right?
used it.
Yeah.
'Cause if you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments below, and I'll make sure I can answer them. And if I can, I'll ask Curtis or I'll ask my dad. Other than that, I think that's it.
Yeah, and if you have any shed designs or plans that you want to do, please share them in the comments. I'd love to see different designs. Our next project is probably going to be a house, but that's going to be a much bigger project for us.
And we won't be building that one.
We'll probably hire someone to build that one because this one was so time consuming that we just probably can't handle that one more time. We'll see how it goes.
No, we'll see.
Tell us how you guys would do it, and give us some comments and feedback, please.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks.